Logitech G, Mountain Dew Leaf, MSI, Xfinity, and ESEA.
16-8 being your scoreline, going handedly in the favor of SK Gaming over Ghost there on Mirage. Of course, we're going to try to break this for you a little bit, not break it for you perhaps, maybe break it down instead here at the Xfinity Analyst Desk with YNK and Vendetta. Now, the story of this matchup, one might say, was coldzera being the coldzera that we know him to be.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Especially because yesterday we saw him had a bit of a scare, I guess, on train, being very uncharacteristically poor in his performance. You know, only getting 5 frags, which is pretty unheard of for a player of his caliber. More back to normal nowadays. And again, when a team like SK are just firing on, I guess, normal cylinders, you know, not just even going into high gear, it's going to be a tough game for Ghost on a map like Mirage.
True. I think no matter the map, but here it was pretty evident that the discrepancy in skill is just, you know, too wide, really, for Ghost to be able to cope with it. SK on the T side at the beginning, you know, a little bit of back and forth early on, but after that they didn't go for anything crazy really in terms of strategies or execution. They were executing in a way where they put a lot of pressure on Ghost Gaming's players individually, you know, just like a smoke or two popping out for a contact play behind the flash, an explosion play, and that really puts a lot of pressure on that guy who's anchoring the bomb site to at least buy time, get a kill, survive, and they just weren't able to do that in the majority of the situations.
Yeah, you could tell multiple times actually where, well, obviously with the change of tempo, that obviously keeps a team like Ghost guessing, especially on their CT side, and you can see that they were trying to play aggressively at times, but SK, again, well-established team, tons of experience to the point where they could just sit back for multiple rounds and kind of let Ghost make their own mistakes. So if they start off with mid-aggression like they did one round with Wardell, Fallen picks him off, they don't actually move anything, they just set up with basic map control and slightly lean towards the A-bomb side as they want to execute there eventually, but they wait out for about, you know, a minute before they actually do anything and just wait for Ghost players to, again, try to find information, that kind of stuff, and fall into the trap that's already been set up. So they didn't have to do anything spectacular. They just had to let Ghost, you know, mind game themselves in that sense and start to feel uncomfortable.
And I think the story of this Ghost lineup has been Wardell. I mean, we've talked about this guy being one of the only heavy hitters that they have in the lineup. Yep. But, you know, at least in this matchup, Sub Rosa was kind of there next to him to bring a little bit more firepower to the table. But overall, what else can we say about Ghost Gaming? I mean, this is not something where they can simply stand toe-to-toe. So they pretty much need to have something else behind the curtains going on.
Yeah, I mean, considering this, if you want to grab any positives, the fact that they're able to, well, so even though they don't win both pistols, they do get, you know, the good start on both maps because they did reset SK right after they won their pistol, and second half pistol they did manage to scrape away. That's just at least a start. You have something to build off of going into, you know, other opponents. You know, if you're comfortable with your pistols and so on, that could go a long way to potentially grab you a win that you normally wouldn't have had. I think they will fare better on most other maps, honestly, than Mirage. You know, especially versus a team like SK.
Well, how about that? I mean, you want to talk about other maps. We're going into, I believe it's going to be Train, actually. I had to second guess myself there. Not a really healthy thing to do, is it, Yanko? Second guess yourself.
Listen, I second guess myself all the time, you know, keeps me sharp, Trace, keeps me going.
Keeps you fact-checking all the time.
Exactly. I think going on to Train, you know, on one hand, it's not as easy to just take fights, which might be good for Ghost. They can't get really bullied as easily, but on the other side of things, also you need to have coordination, you need to have a good amount of teamwork, and you wonder how much routine and coordination can a squad like Ghost Gaming have. So
that is
even if SK is struggling at the moment on some of these maps, I just feel that the difference in the ability of the players is more than enough for them to have another comfortable win here.
Yeah, and I would say that on a normal day, that's where I'd go as well. But nothing's really been normal about what we've seen the last couple of weeks. And Ghosts have actually, you know, you mentioned the fact that Train does require a lot of coordination, whether it's T or CT side, depending on how you want to execute and hold crossfires and so on. And Ghosts, ever since they brought in VSA, have actually been pretty proficient at that, surprisingly so, which is really cool to see. And I think, again, this map allows itself more for Wardell, again, not to necessarily have to worry about 17 different angles where people can smoke him off and actually get into his face before you can put that off to use. And I think that's going to play a much bigger difference. Obviously, not saying that Ghosts are winning this, but I'm just saying they stand a chance at least.
We cannot dismiss what we saw the other night with SK and Optic. It was, I think, a 16-2, 16-3. Just a terrible not even close to the well-rounded SK we know them to be. All that aside, you can put an asterisk next to it and say, okay, well, Stewie 2K's in here, lineup change, this and that. They're coming off of a lot of travel. Is it possible that we see the same sort of mentality tonight, or not mentality, or showing, I should say?
I don't think so. I think, if anything, that was a one-off performance. No matter who the player is that joined, there's just so much skill on that SK lineup that really, they are going to be a favorite against probably any team in the North American division, barring potentially Team Liquid at the moment, right? So I think for them, it's just about having a bit more time to really gel. You can see Taco's role was very important, even though he wasn't, the most skilled player on the lineup. But for example, anchoring some of the bomb sites, like B bomb site on train, that's no easy feat. So it's going to be interesting to see how things develop for SK, whether they will stick to these positions we see them early on.
And that's actually a really good point, because yesterday what we saw versus Optic was the fact that Bolts was hanging around towards Ivy, which has normally been Coldzera's spot for God knows how many years at this point. And Coldzera was being used more of as a rotation piece to help Stewie, who's playing that inner bomb side. In many ways, it seems like they've kind of put Stewie in whatever Taco used to play, which is fair enough. Stewie's a skilled enough individual to potentially do that. But it seems like they are experimenting a little bit as to what they do with the other players. And I think that could create some imbalances in their defenses right now. But again, to them, they obviously think long-term about this. So I think if need be, they might just revert back to the tried and true, I guess, in that sense. Stick people where they're most comfortable and roll with that out, because they need W's at this point.
Well, that's one of the things people brought to light here about this SK lineup, is the fact that Stewie has the potential to slot right in perfectly where Taco left off. But then there's the discussion about him being maybe potentially too aggressive. They've seen that before in SK Gaming. Could this be a rerun, Yanko?
Rerun of
Phelps 2.0
Phelps.
edition, like.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, I don't think so, because obviously them getting Stewie, they're aware of his style, right, and how he is as a player. They know he's not a FNX Bolts type of a player. They know he's more similar to Phelps. So them agreeing to make to acquire him basically as a player means that they've had talks with him about roles and about stuff, and you wouldn't just, Stewie wants to join, let's just get him and then figure things out after that, especially
Sounds good.
after the experience they've had with Phelps. So I think they do have a plan, they do have an idea of how they want to play with him and what do they want him to be doing for the squad, but I don't know if that's going to work out, and if it doesn't, whether plan B or plan C with these 5 players is going to work out either. That's my concern, at least.
What about plan A for Ghost Gaming on train? What is something that they can hope to put together here, and is there a chance here overall?
I'd say there is a chance. Again, online Counter-Strike, things can happen. We've seen weird stuff happen this season, honestly. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Wardell has to be a star performer for them for this to even be within earshot. But I also think the fact that we've seen multiple players on the side of Ghost actually have good games over the last 2 weeks. Not necessarily just Sabrosa or just Seb, but everyone has been kind of chipping in at this point. I think that could be the only thing they need, actually. Have that second guy to follow up on the performances of Wardell. But if Wardell falls flat, then I think Ghost just lays down.
It's just over. Yeah. Yanko, who do you got in this bout?
SK.
Just straight up. No explanation needed. That's just the way it's going to be. A book by Y&K that you can buy in your local Books A Million. Either way, it's just about to turn this one over to the guys in Harriet and Jason, who are standing now idly by, ready to take this one away.
Harriet's a girl's name, isn't it?
It is.
I thought Harriet. Harriet. Oh, okay, whatever, dude. Yeah, it could be, I guess.
You tried to
Let's not get into the name game. I don't hear nothing from nobody.
I was fine with it.
Harry's fine with it as well.
Harriet.
If you pay me the right amount, I'll be whatever you need me to be, Trace.
Bloody hell, let's talk about Counter-Strike. SK taking on Ghost Gaming, second map in this set. Train will be the map. Take it away, Harry.
Thank you, Jason. Yeah, 10 out of 10. Can't wait for this one. Probably the biggest map I've been looking forward to all week, actually, just because I love seeing SK on trade. And yeah, I think there's always a chance that Ghost could upset. I'll be honest with you, especially with how SK have looked recently. Coming into this, I think if you'd looked at this before the whole league had started, you would have just said, like, okay, this is a nice 16-0 game to keep us on schedule. SK just gonna just going to, you know, completely decimate Ghost. But that's not the case at the minute. You know, SK, they're looking fragile, and Ghost, they've made leaps and bounds in terms of their improvement. So
No, SK didn't look too fragile on Mirage.
that's true.
They did come in today looking hot, looking spicy.
We all like a bit of spice. You know, I ate a couple of jalapenos during the break.
Just straight up jalapeno.
Yeah, you know, dude, they're so good. They make your eyes water with a little bit of happiness, a little bit because of how hot they are.
So carrots and jalapenos are your jam.
Yeah.
That's your thing.
You know, the carrot's good for the eyesight. The jalapenos are just because I hate myself.
Okay. You always know how to take it to the next level. Here we go. Towards the inner bomb site, Ghost Gaming heads. Stewie is here behind the first train. Cold Zero with them farther back in the middle train. Perhaps so Stewie can keep an eye on sidewalk while Cold Zero peeks to the right to make sure he can't get wrapped upon. See how this works out. Stewie at the moment hiding, not peeking out just yet. Here's the footsteps flashbang, but it's not good enough. No one blind from Ghost, and Cold Zero's the only one left, and they have to manage this aggression. Smoke and the choke point. Fallen's coming out, just spamming the bullets. No response from Stanley as he holds his nerve, walks right through the smoke, and Fur just didn't see him. Maybe he was looking at a different monitor, who knows, but oh my word, Stanley with 3 kills so quickly. He's got 4 total in the round, and bullets on either side of the map might prevent the ace, but that is a play and a half from Stanley. And Ghosts go up 1-0. That's a nice little exclamation point to start the map. It's one of those awkward scenes where the GoTV smoke looks a little bit different on ours than it did on Fur's, obviously.
You love that pistol round, though. I got God Save the Queen blaring out in my head right now. It's a beautiful sight whenever UKCS manages to get a 4K versus SK Gaming.
Manages to do anything at all, really.
You know, you could be savage, Jason, or you could just give me this one small victory for once. You know, there's that.
No.
Ghost, they've been able to get themselves the pistol round. They're probably feeling good now, and look, they think that maybe they could have some more success back into this B-bomb. It's like Stewie and Cold Zero here look to try and prove to them otherwise. This crossfire between Stewie and Cold Zero is one that's actually had a decent bit of success in these pistol rounds. We saw them do it just yesterday.
It's going to be free kills on Owen's watching the upper ramp. Stewie's just going to go down. Took a gamble just focusing on that lower ramp. But Cold Zero 1 dig over towards Stanley. Seb finishes him off low health. They're not able to punish that as he drops, and Fur coming out into the open. Next up is Fallen. He goes down as well. And Wardell just building up money for that AWP. 2-0. They only lose 1. Fallen again, though, saving a bit more money so he can have that AWP in the next round.
Yeah, you imagine getting the AWP out here is going to be instrumental to SK's success on this map, especially considering Fallen was looking very, very crisp on Mirage. For Ghost, Wardell is sitting on a mound of cash. He wants to try and make even more. He's going to go rushing in towards this A bomb site, MP7 in hand. And 5 fleshy boys in front of him. He's cut down 2. Actually, just the 1. So he has the others kind of stripped away from him. It all falls onto Bolts. 1v5. And, you know, maybe he could do some damage if Wardell or Seb gets a bit overzealous. Could find something, but that's kind of clutching at straws. Although, actually, it was both of those players I mentioned came his way, but he wasn't able to find it. So Ghost 3-0 up. And critically, Wardell, $10,000. He can grab himself an AWP now.
Why would you want to do that? Just keep the SMGs. You only have 2. You've got 3 rifles. Use this as that bonus round. See if you can build up anything else. You probably assume if you're Wardell that there's going to be a couple players, even Stanley with the MAC-10 without head armor on the SK side, so those SMGs can do some work, and also allows you to be a fast-paced front line. As we can see, Stanley's going to lead the way out. He's just leaping. Utility being used, fast-paced. It's supposed to be an uppercut, but Fallen's got the first say. Opening pick onto Seb. They now know exactly where Stanley is as well, and Fur aggressive behind the smoke. That's the bomb. So even if Ghost has success, they're going to have to go back to find it, and they're finding no success. Finally, Fur does go down, but Wardell stuck on a player. He's going to get 1, goes for more. Almost able to add on to it. Any more kills, though, from Stanley in this round, and that would be great. He's brought Stewie down low. He's got the bomb as well, and he's going to rotate inside. Stewie's the first point of contact towards B, but he's got such low HP that he doesn't want to do it. If Stanley can find him early, that would be economic damage. That would be great. That's Stewie for the moment, just trying to lock him into the bomb site, trying to see where he goes in the post plant. Stanley's got everything to do. Phenomenal pistol round. Can he build upon it in this first gun round? Fallen's got Perch up top of the train right behind. Stanley trying to use the sound cues. There's Fallen. He goes down, headshot to get more, but Bolts recovers in time. A costly round, though, and I'd say, considering the plant and the 3 kills, that's success for Ghost.
Yeah, Stanley's been impressive in these first few rounds. But SK, they've been able to get their first on the board. The AWP carried forward. That's going to be thrown over to Fallen. Wardell, now you imagine breaking out the AWP of his own, and that's exactly what he's gone and done. And as a result, going for the bonus round, money is still plentiful here for Ghost. They're feeling very, very good about that fact.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's another AWP on Wardell in the next round if they were to lose this one. There's another really strong buy, and Ghost Gaming built up, so quite a beautiful buffer from their eyes. 1 to 3. SK's purchase is no slouch, even despite losing 3 players. Fur and Coldzera still have about 1,150 actually built up. Here we go. 4 players in the outer yard. Fur in the ladder room. He really struggled in that position when we watched this yesterday. Let's get a little bit beat up on the double drop when he was inside. But no indication of what's coming. SK hasn't spotted anything. Holding their nerve with the utility as well. 4 smokes leading into the 1-minute mark.
Yeah, they've been sneaking over here towards B. They're going to be leaving Visa and Sabrosa behind. Maybe to try and sell a fake, or maybe they go ducking in through Pop Dog. Sabrosa's already been tagged down low regardless. Ooh, kind of toying with fate. They're up on the ladder, but actually Fallen does get tagged back. He's going to be helped out by Fur, but in the meantime, actually, I was going to say they've fallen down in B, but they haven't. They haven't accounted for Stewie. He's going to go ahead and emerge from the mist, and he's still going, still pushing forward, buying so much time for these rotations to come through. And the one thing that could make all the difference, this round is so sloppy from both teams. I mean, so many players in the back. Finally, both of the infiltrators have been dealt with. Suddenly, it's just Visa left, 1v3. Stewie somehow still alive, finally going to get dropped, but another man has come in to take his place. Visa almost, but not quite, Fallen. Homes down the sights, and just like that, SK are onto their second round.
Those are some big boy frags, though, from Visa. Immediate headshots onto Stewie, and the follow-up inside the bomb site onto Bolts to get 4 players taken away for SK, so they have to reinvest, and this is going to be a much more beat-up buy from their point of view. Stewie on the SMG, and like we said, another strong buy that was built up for Ghost. We've got plenty of utility, 4 rifles in the AWP, and they're going to have a lot of opportunities to find some picks. Bolts was instrumental in that previous round victory for SK. That kill onto Seb, who was wrapping around the first train towards the inner bomb site. If he had picked off Fallen, that round would have probably been over in the favor of Ghost. The jump across, the peek from Wardell. Bolts gets baited into sticking around for the fight. Pretty swift shot from Wardell also.
Yeah, I guess they're just in the nick of time to save Stanley. But yeah, that bait and switch works perfectly. They've grabbed a man advantage. They've now forced SK to have to try and find success elsewhere. And they think that maybe they'll find it by sending Fur over here into Pop Dog. There are 2 players up above him. If they go for this A play and they don't manage to clear Fur out of Pop, I see that causing some real problems for Ghost, though, in this take. They've only left 1 man over there in the form of Seb. And I mean, I always think, if you're going to take Pop Dog, I'm a big fan of going for, the 2-man tower, drop down into it along with the flash. I think then you're more or less guaranteed, but now they've just let Fur kind of run rampant. They didn't flush him out. He went from Pop Dog over into main, and on the back of that, he was able to take Sabrosa. I think that was a...
Yeah, I think Fallen shot him.
Yeah.
Which is not ideal, obviously. Not in any way, shape, or form. 3-on-3. Thankfully, even if you kill Fur, you've got some of the best players in the world waiting behind him. Stewie on that flank, and the timing of it is perfect. He can't stop the plant, but he can kill the planter immediately. Wardell, though, he's got open space with the AWP, and he peeks right into Fallen. That's where he can be deadly. SK still not out of it just yet, although there's no more money on the Ghost side. They're going to have a 3-round losing bonus. 2,400 going their way, plus the 800, so 3,200. They'll have to sit 1 round out or do probably a half buy, more than anything. They better do a half buy, considering how much damage they've been doing to the economy of SK. They want to keep that low. Even just 2 kills in this round could be crucial They've done a good job even in losses of keeping SK checked in that regard, so still on the verge of a collapse.
They've got above and beyond the half buy. They've gone for a full buy here, Jason. They've gone for 3 rifles, 2 UMPs, and a sprinkling of utility on top as a garnish. So Bros is already out. Seb's going to be very fast down here into B, but he doesn't clear close to Stewie, and as a result, this round, oh, that's a disaster. This is not what they wanted. coldzera, quick 2 shots from him. Fallen, going to do damage out towards the outside area, and it is just Visa left. That was, as far as buys go, that was a disaster from Ghost.
Yeah, that's the exact opposite of what you want to occur. You wanted some frags, right? And you wanted to obviously get into the site to get the extra $800 to help out your losing bonus, but beautiful stuff from coldzera. Stewie gets the initial kill, and that Molotov just freezes them on the ramp. Easy pickings for coldzera at range. And that is going to be a tough one to swallow for Ghost, because, you know, when you ask it to have 5 players survive on the CT side, they have a double op set up in their hands as well. This is where it can get so deadly. If they're able to build up too much money and you just are always facing buys against SK, it just starts to feel so hopeless. Bolts with the opening kill onto Seb. And tricky little bugger. Gonna back away. Ooh, great headshot onto Sub Rosa, spinning. He's been managing this very well in this game. I mentioned he struggled with it yesterday, but obviously looking a bit more on point this afternoon.
Yeah, it's just a mop up here for SK, and Stanley has himself a Deegan armor. Maybe he could find a weapon to take with. Whoop. Nope. Just toy with Fur.
Was he, though? Or was Fur toying with him?
That's the age-old question. Of course, Fur comes out, trumps in that duel. You would expect him to. And I mean, Fur, yeah, he's been so good over in Pop Dog. You know, he usually is. It's kind of like, you know, one of the things that you can always attribute to SK on this map is their ability just to grab an area if they want to take it. And Fur, in particular, is so good at locking down Pop. And, you know, I mean, Ghost, they haven't really figured out how to deal with him yet, it feels like. He's just kind of been the reoccurring problem, whether it's over in Pop Dog or pushing into main. There's been the 2 main areas he's been taking the fights this time. Once again, into Pop early on. Well, he's been a tricky beast to contend with. This time, 3 players over at Ivy. They've kind of given up on this Pop position. Look at SK, they're going aggressive. They've got Fallen keeping an eye on main. With coldzera there to back things up if it all goes south, and Bolt's waiting patiently down at Ivy. They get a lot of information for this, and you know, maybe even tempted to progress a little bit further forward. Minute left on the clock, and Ghost, they already look so restricted in terms of where they can go.
They seem a little bit uncertain, don't they? I mean, it's tough, especially when you know there's a double op setup. You know, you're a little bit more cautious when you peek angles. Got to use a little bit more utility to get some safety. That being said, Visa's used none to now peek 2 corners where oppers frequent. So, taking some gambles. Slowly crunching into this outer bomb site, but they're going to have to get past Fallen with this kind of an angle. Not a whole lot of smokes and flashbangs for him. Fur is in ladder room. A missed shot from Fallen might provide an opportunity. There's Fur with an opening kill, not able to follow up onto the second. Fallen's about to be pressured. Sub Rosa has the angle to his right, but Stewie's outside now. He's rotated over, and the no-scope from Fallen off the ladder. Sub Rosa just gets swatted aside very easily, 6-3. They will have to rebuy the op, I believe. Actually, no, they don't have to rebuy it. Excuse me, yes, they do.
I don't know if you know any names of the old trick shots from the Call of Duty days. I don't, but maybe you do. Because Fallen was trying to.
I don't know that.
I don't know. But Fallen was trying to pull one of those off just then, Jason. It was, I don't know, like maybe a ladder stool. I've heard that phrase thrown around before.
I have no idea, to be honest with you. I've never been much involved in the Call of Duty outside of the fact that my brother Maven works the game.
Twin brother, of course.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I mean, interesting round nonetheless. You love it when Fallen lands shots like that. And he's going to be keeping an eye over towards main once again. This aggression coming in from him. He's still feeling very, very ballsy. Fur going to be flashed out from Pop, and into the arms of him they go. Well, actually, he's only able to get one this time around, so he's dealt with Fur. Now they have to deal with Fallen. One boss on to another. He's kind of the big boss. He's going to do it again. Okay, he's done it for a second time. And a third Fallen. What is that? That is absolutely unreal. What is this? Is this his audition tape for FaZe or something? He's trying to go and leave this team.
He's playing Tony Hawk.
Look at him go. Tony Hawk, Mirror's Edge, he's doing everything. He's skating around his parkour.
Nah, this is a pretty sick sequence. Obviously, thankfully it wasn't Sub Rosa that he kills there. Just that deja vu might have just tilted Sub Rosa into oblivion, but phenomenal frags from him in a dangerous spot as well. But you can see Ghost Gaming might have been able to take him down earlier if they were more aggressive, right? But they've been put in their place a number of times, so they're a little bit worried pushing up those very narrow choke points, those lanes, to try and take him out, knowing that AWP is in his hands, and you can see exactly why. This double op setup for SK has been phenomenal, and somehow coldzera, he catches Seb out in the open. Didn't even look like it was a possibility, but he finds a way to make it work. 7-3, and SK in prime position to get up towards 8 to have a strong 5-round lead, as Ghost Gaming have just been stumped. Nades being thrown out by the defense. Stewie's now rotated back inside. No reason to cheat towards the outer train area when you have a player advantage. Fur wanted to get aggressive. He wanted to... You just know he was picking around to push forward. He found Sub Rosa as well, can pre-fire the angle. Although Sub Rosa doesn't win that fight. Fallen now. He goes up next, and good kills for Sub Rosa. 2 for him. Now the outer bomb site is very susceptible. They've got to take care of him on top of this train, but they're not willing to peek, and that Molotov is going to slow down their ability to rotate in. Bomb is dropped at the top of the stairs. This is going to give SK plenty of time to get into better positions. And Bolt's now right in the corner along the wall, going to be able to hold the cross. No one in Ivy that he's got to worry about. Doesn't need to peek, doesn't need to get information. He's going to do it anyways. Finds a headshot onto Stanley, and that thins the herd, that thins the attack out. Ghost still lost that. Going back to get the bomb has really hurt them. Stewie boosted up. Will be able to stop this as well. Sub Rosa going to wrap around that mid-train. He'll have a pathway to get a plant for free. Bolts can stop this, though, if he peeks out. Stewie's going to make his play. Now drops down. Visa's not ready for it, but does recover, and so does Wardell. It's just coldzera, 1 versus 3, and he gets picked off. Ghosts do recover quite admirably for their 4th.
Still, the rebuy is able to come in from SK. They're not feeling too disappointed. coldzera, he had lots of money. He's got in there to invested 12,000 into this round, dropping an AWP over to Fallen as well. So he's a real team player. Making sure everyone has what they need looking forward. Wardell's got the AWP out for Ghost, and where's he to take that early on? Down towards Ivy. Bolts is there, and of course this bait that we saw between Stanley and Wardell worked for them earlier on in the half. Maybe they're going to look to try and replicate that once again. I always feel like if I was a pro.
If you were a pro?
Yeah, if I was.
All right, let's hear it.
I would just despise playing against Fur. Like, he... Look at like every round, he's just pressuring you over in Pop. Now he's pressuring main. Ghost, they just can't catch a break, and there we go. He's going to go to drop Sub Rosa.
Yeah, he's kind of like the modern day, like JW. JW used to do similar things with the AWP, just some wildly aggressive play to just get that 1 kill, right? And Fur seems to be the player who's doing it now and finding success with it with an M4. But it's the same. It's equally annoying to play against because you always have pressure on the T side. You're always worried of where he's going to push, and it just slows everything down, makes you feel a lack of confidence. And coldzera now, I mean, especially when you have a double up set up behind it on guys like Fallen and coldzera, and even Fur now, they traded it over so Fallen could be close up with the M4, and it's still working out in their favor. Visa's going to swap over, and I don't know if he wants to do that. He has found Fur. Try and get this bomb plant, and coldzera's there to clothesline him as he gets close. 4-8. No plant for Ghost, and running low on funds. They might choose to buy here as 2 players can get rifles.
I just want Fallen to go back to his trusty ladder and just go for some more aggressive plays over towards main. He's been enjoying that. He's been having the time of his life.
Yeah, why not? I mean, maybe he's just making a frag movie from that one specific location.
I think that's the case. It's unreal how, you know, between 2 rounds, you see him get 3 kills doing the same thing. We were still in the process of kind of bigging it up from the round prior, and he does it again.
And again, and again, and again.
Just keeps blowing my mind. Fallen.
8-4 coming out of the timeout. And Ghost still haven't figured out what to do. I imagine that's what they just discussed. What are they going to do about this double op setup? They just have not been able to get past it. It's been such a phenomenon. I think they've only won 1 round against it. Especially considering you had the aggression of Fur. This round it's Bolts who's peeking out towards Ivy and sees nothing coming his way. So first things first, get past coldzera, holding the off angle towards the inner bomb site. He actually brings Seb down to 6 HP. Stewie's here with an AK-47 on top of that first train. And he's going to clean things up with the nade and the touchdown. Now a couple players going over towards Ivy. It's going to be Fallen joining Bolts, but it's going to fall away initially, just helping him to get into position. And that Molotov slows this all down. Now you're going to see Fallen start rotating right towards the inner bomb site, just sprinting across the map. Flanks will start coming in as well. But Stewie and coldzera for the initial hold.
Yeah, these two have been tested on B time and time again. This time coldzera with that double up. Stewie going to be taking the fights up close as they pour on in. He's going to fall at the first hurdle. coldzera and Fallen. They cut this offense down, though, chipping away at it from afar. They dismember any hope of Ghost getting back into this round, and coldzera there to put the final nail in the coffin.
The timing of that Molotov on lower ramp ruined everything for Ghost, because there was a Molotov right when their initial nades were coming out for the hit. And then obviously the follow-up smoke on top of that Molotov just shuts it down. When they do eventually go for this hit just a couple seconds later, they've got nothing. They've only got a couple flashbangs. They have no more smokes to block off that Opper. They have to block off Fallen. They'd used it all already. So disaster, and Ghost is just going to have to save for the last round. Molotov nade in towards team mid. It's not going to spread far enough to catch either Wardell or Sabrosa, but it's holding them at bay.
First been tagged low in the engagement prior over in Pop, but he's still able to find himself 2. Then there's this flank coming in from Stewie, and that's going to seal it. Fallen mops up the last man, 10-4. A nice, clean, concise round from SK, and that's exactly what they needed. Last round of the half now. Buy comes in for Ghost. A pause called in.
Yeah, you could see as he was running, Stanley's ping must have spiked. He had a little bit of like a laggy jerk movement, so gonna take a timeout. You can see in the tab there at the end, it was about up at 170, 150. So maybe waiting for that to calm down real quick, see if it lowers. Because that's no fun for anybody. It's 10-4, yeah. He did get dinked from straight below and he just swings out. Yeah, there you can see it. He just kind of skips around right past Fur's crosshair. We saw it from his POV.
Yeah, just been informed that one of the players had a ping spike, so this is just going to be a quick resolution of that. That's never fun. Of course, you missed it just the other day, Jason. We had Haji from Envious playing on 4G.
How'd that go? Was it pretty good?
Yeah, funnily enough, he had the best ping in the server, and he was doing A-OK. So, you know, it really is amazing how far technology's come when you think about it.
Fortnite's gone to mobile. Might as well bring Counter-Strike there as well.
Yeah. No, let's do it. I'd be down.
I think it was... I think Henry and I talked about this the other day. It was Natsu who actually did a sponsor event with Ents for a wireless kind of like a phone company who has 5G to show how well it can be on gaming. coldzera spots that jump, but he wants nothing to do with the actual fight. Big disadvantage for him, so he just takes the shot quickly so he can get away. Equally, Ghost didn't want anything to do with it, and actually looked like he almost wanted to go back for more from a different angle. Chooses not to, though, as there was smoke in his vision. Could be looking at another 11-4 lead for SK going into the second half, much like Mirage.
They've Rambo Stanley across. Big fan of that, but as that smoke goes down, you know, it's kind of now been nullified. SK, 3 players out here on this A-bomb site. And aggression from Fur once again. I mean, just the reoccurring statement that gets made. This time he's over in main. And, you know, he's kind of been over in Pop every single round, causing problems for Ghost. And now he's completely switched things up in the last of the half. And, oh, who wins that? Stanley does. Britain does it once again. We managed to get ourselves 2. say us, because never ever get to speak highly of UKCS. But Cold Zero going to answer back, one onto Wardell. Fur, in the meantime, drops out Sabrosa. He's here to try and trade, and he finally manages to deal with that pesky Fur that's been causing so many problems behind their lines. And now Cold Zero and Stewie, this iconic B-site duo that has started to build up their reputation, has to try and retake this site. Just Stewie, the new guy within SK. 1v3, does drop Stanley. Now Seb and Visa left to find. They have a crossfire set up. The bomb's down and out in the open. Time now working against Stewie. Going to look away, but he's actually been... Okay, Stewie, that is absolutely unreal. He gets it done. Stewie is a monster. What in God's name was that? SK are in with an 11th round, and that shot back to Visa has blown my mind.
Ooh, Stu, that should have never happened. That is actually incredible. What a spin. Poor Ghost. They get demolished. A great pistol round from Stanley in the ensuing 2 rounds, but once again, they only win 1 gun round. It was all the double ups that I mentioned a couple times. Ghost just never had an answer for it. Really, really rough time on the T side of Train, but now it's their turn on the defense. If they can get something going. Shut SK down in a similar fashion.
I mean, if you're Ghost, with the amount of just kind of unreal stuff that's happened to you, you imagine like it's going to be in their heads a bit now. We've had the falling AWP shots from Fallen.
Yeah.
We had that insane 180 flick from Stewie.
And you have Fur just pushing all over the place.
They just cannot catch a break. Now that SK are over on the T side, though, I think it was the other day we saw them struggle a little bit with this same feat, actually. So there is always a shot.
Yeah, but I think the difference is they seem much more on point today on an individual level than they did yesterday. So even if they have some struggles tactically or some communication or decision making, whatever it might be, I think obviously with the discrepancy in individual talent, I think they have the tools needed to overcome those obstacles today, more so than yesterday. They've looked much, much better. Tall task for Ghost. 4-11. No room for error. Lost the first map pretty handily. I believe it was 16-8. And again, staring down the barrel of a pretty big victory, or a pretty big loss, excuse me, from Ghost. So, live into the second half pistol on 11-4. Utility on Fur and Cold Zero. Flash, Molotov, and Flash Smoke. Cold Zero with the P250 as well for the range, even though he doesn't have armor. Stewie's going to lead the way, sees one, he's going to get baited into the crossfire, but it works anyways. I think he switched to burst fire at the right moment, and Fallen is going to build upon that, and this is just SK throwing caution to the wind and getting into this site and killing everybody. Wardell and Seb. An initial headshot is going to be enough to allow Seb to kind of traverse along that back wall, but I don't think he can find anything from there. No one from SK is being exposed from these angles. Wardell is still bogged down and connected. Here comes Stewie swinging out wide just for the information, not committing to the fight. He knows exactly where Seb is coming and the timing of it. The bomb was about halfway gone, and there is a kit on Seb. He just picks it up. Cold Zero brought down to 2 HP. That's a good start, but there goes the kit, and there goes the round as well. 12-4 for SK, and they might just run away with this one.
Yeah, that's the sort of no respect play that we kind of have been wanting to see from this SK roster. It felt like they've been playing a little bit scared, a little bit timid up until now, and everyone now kind of starting to find their footing. We're seeing the return of the beast in terms of how they play versus some of these lower tier teams, we'll say. But 4 spy up for Ghost Gaming. Wardell's going to have himself a scout, and he's not someone who likes to mess around with this weapon. He's pretty keen scouter when he wants to be. Going to be looking in towards Ivy. There you go. Ooh, that's lovely. Does get caught out in the open. Surely can't find anything else. He's been tagged away, forced off the angle. But that's still an early man advantage gained for Ghost. Stanley's going to extend it even more, and things now get a bit dicey. Sabrosa's holding the angle. They're just going to go waltzing out into it. One with a Deeg. Can he get a second? He has Wardell to help out, and there we go. It's just Stewie left.
This all feels a bit silly. Maybe SK going a tad bit too fast. 4 players dead with 1 minute and 10 still on the clock. Stewie on the other side of the map is going to miss that initial kill, and now it's pretty much all over. Even if he finds Stanley, they know exactly where he is. The bomb is dropped all the way back at the end of Whitehall's, and Wardell's going to finish it off with his 3rd kill for the round. Nice job with the scout to find the opening and closing kills.
Look at this. I mean, that is just pure filth. That is pure, uncensored filth. Ghost Gaming, they managed to steal a round back. I just kind of winged it, made up that Wardell was good with the scout, and he was. He was unreal with it.
Listen, don't ever let anyone know that you make things up when you cast. That's not a good start. You knew it all along.
That is true. A fountain of knowledge, fountain of youth, all the different kinds of fountains, apparently. And, well, let's see, because there's about to be a fountain of Brazilians in towards this A bomb site, perhaps, as it looks like they're about to spew in through Ivy. They've actually changed their tune and started to back away.
Yeah, falling tag down to 39 is never fun. Does have a deagle, though, so he can still have some impact if he just keeps the spacing and goes for those ranged 1-deeks. Coldzera as well looking for it, and him and Seb are in like a weird shoulder peek battle where they have the exact perfect timing to not get punished by either one. There's a peek from Seb. Coldzera, with just under a minute, he's willing to back away from that. Still plenty of time, someone to find one lucky headshot. Stewie's the next one up. Sees Sabrosa jumping onto the train. You can see the danger with these deagles, relative safety taking these one-shot shoulder peeks and falling away. 30 seconds left on the clock, and they've gained a little bit of ground, but now the deagles get somewhat unwieldy. There's Visa, and actually Bolt's his job was to take him out, and he does it with the help of Fallen, and good trade as they come out, but in a 2-on-3 now, and the danger might have just stopped. Fur, tagged down to 73, still looking for something, but the time is against them. 15 seconds on the clock, tags up Wardell down to, oh, what a flick over, Fur! He might have just created something. 10 seconds left as he moves forward. He's looking for that exact peak, but he's just going to ignore it. He knows he has to get the bomb planted, but his teammate has fallen, and that should be it. Fur just recovers, and he pulls out the weapon, but he was surrounded, even if he gets Seb. But boy, did he make that interesting.
He most definitely did. Betrayed by the amount of time it takes to ready the FAMAS. Ghost Gaming in with their 6th. Still, comes a lot closer than I think they would have liked. Only 2 players surviving. They're going to go buying into this round. And maybe it kind of leaves me scratching my head a bit. Wardell buying the AWP here seems like a risk that they don't necessarily need to take. Given that they're only up against these pistols, you could have had one more round of making money with the SMGs and just playing it that much more safe. Because I'm thinking, you know, all it takes is Fallen to grab that AWP somehow, and suddenly, round becomes pretty scary. But saying that, Wardell's already opened up.
So Rosa's going to build upon it. So, yeah, looking like it's going to be another round for Ghost in this half, a 7th overall. And again, SK needs to be careful they don't allow this comeback to happen. I'm not sure why Ghost has chosen to cheat a 4th player outside. They don't need to do this now. I mean, it's okay because Seb should be fine, but it will allow a bomb plant. And there would have been an element of danger if he had gone down in the initial hitter early on, but they'll manage it fine. No reason to not allow the bomb plant as well, just because SK is going to buy an extra round no matter what. So the extra bonus money isn't a huge issue. But yeah, Fallen's going to have that ADVP, but they do have to be careful. This can get close very, very fast. Especially considering we've seen some very nice shots out of Wardell recently, so he's obviously starting to heat up. He's at 15 and 12 at the moment. Fallen's leading the way for SK, 17 and 10.
So they got themselves the buy-in. Interesting enough, Stewie's the one to don the AWP right now. I think it's because he had the spawn for mid, as now he goes back and yeah, throws that over to Fallen. Stanley worked his way up into the corner here, and they're just going to go and swig that off. Fallen does keep an eye on it. And they pressure it early on, but Ghost now looking hesitant whether or not they want to keep Stanley here, or maybe have him take a more defensive position. He still has a smoke, so I think he's going to head and re-smoke that angle. Good opener found from Fur. Visa not able to win that duel out. The nade might be enough to finish it, and there we go. The trade comes through. Good slam dunk from Sabrosa. Big fan of basketball in his spare time. And now he holds close. Bolt's about to come his way, and he runs past him in the smoke. Rubs backs with the enemy, and he's going to be able to catch Fallen unaware. They have no idea how Sabrosa got there. And suddenly, coldzera is the last man left. 1v4, 40 seconds, and counting. Sabrosa, I don't even know how he was able to get that many from behind. Surely they knew.
I thought Bolts maybe would have heard his footsteps, but perhaps like a nade was going off, or the flashbang caught him just enough to obscure his hearing. But he does pick off Fallen, pick up the AWP, and obviously from that vantage point, free pickings into the outer bomb site as the rest of the SK players have to have their attention forward where their opponents might be right behind the smoke wall or coming through it even. This is what I talked about, just a couple plays like that from Coast, and they're going to be right back into this one. coldzera trying to get out. He's over towards Orloff, throwing the flashbangs. This is that famed hit towards Ivy. coldzera down to about half HP, but he's done his job. He's got his teammates out safely with a couple of flashbangs. They're going to be attacking this bomb site. No kills going their way yet, and that's the big problem. The timing for Bolts is everything. He wants to wrap around, but it's going to be Seb leading the way with an AK-47. Should be able to find that. Spots the shoulder. Even though he gets dinked, he's eliminated the danger of that kind of a play. And not a whole lot of weaponry left for SK in a 3-on-5 to hold this off. Fallen's got to do something special with the MAC-10. A couple low HP players could do it. Visa's going to push around. Another dink. The CZ now, but actually with the AWP, the health doesn't matter so much, and Fur's going to give it up. He's content to keep that weapon. Allow the defuse to come in. No chance of re-peaking, but a couple low HP players means this was actually kind of close for SK.
Now they get the buy on in. Rifles once again. Fallen gets that AWP thrown over by Fur. And the good news here for them is, you know, with that little bit of extra money they've been able to save, AWPs are guaranteed in the future. They can even scrape together a buy in the next round, so it's that much more of kind of resistance the way of Ghost. Still, though, I mean, keep kind of talking about this as though SK still look to be in the lead. And, you know, while they do have 3 rounds going their way. Ooh, that shot from Wardell. That's not characteristic miss. Doesn't, however, miss it the second time around. And there we go. Wardell in with 2. Is he done, or is he going to continue to step up? There we go. Smites them down, and that is a monstrous performance from him. Misses the first, but does he make up for it on the next couple of shots? Yes, he does.
Yeah, here we go. It's game on now. SK is really going to be kicking themselves for dropping that second round. This could have been much, much easier. Now they're really going to have to grind it out. Another strong buy coming in, the full losing bonus in their favor. Fast tactics haven't done well, and Fallen burning alive, standing in the flames. So good Molotov to force him out of position early on, was looking for a pick down one of the lanes. Sabrosa and ladder room could be some trouble. When does SK decide to go towards this inner bomb site? They haven't really tested it so much on these gun rounds. At the moment, not leaning anywhere. The most action they have is Fallen getting out of mid, but he's been spotted and he's been brought down below half HP. coldzera knows there's more in ladder room as well. Actually going to be 2 out there. Fallen smokes off their vision just so he can get back.
See, there is a smoke that you can throw that lands, you know, right at the door of Pop Dog. I wonder if they would have go for that now. They would have had both the players trapped in there, and it would have been all on Visa inside the site. But they opt instead to rotate over towards B. You have Stanley for that fast rotation. Visa is pretty near to the old Pop Dog as well. But it's Seb who has his work cut out for him. Wardell's here to help. And I mean, these are the 2 heavy hitters for Ghost, right? And they're both inside this B bomb site right now. It's not going to be an easy task for SK to grab this one from Ghost.
They need 1 kill out of Bolts as he comes out Ivy, and there it is. That might just be it. Wardell second guesses. He's not there for the fight, and so Fallen gets the angle. Now Seb, he's got 2 directions he's got to face, and that does it. Just 1 frag from Bolts provides just the sliver, the half second of opportunity to get into this inner bomb site, and Visa's going to go for it. 2 on 4. He gets picked off, and Stanley is too far committed to get away. There it is. First round for some time for SK. They do attack that inner bomb site finally, and it works out, but it's off the back of pressure applied at Ivy. And Ghost's going to take a timeout. They do not want SK to be able to build up and string rounds together, gain any kind of momentum. That would be a disaster. They've clawed themselves back into this and don't want to give it away now. 13-10. It's only the second round in this half for SK. They won the pistol. Dropped 6 straight, and now finally responded. There's so much money built up on Ghost, though, or there was before this buy. They probably have this buy and maybe one more after that they can scrap together on the defensive side. Oh, yeah, not even scrapped together. A very comfortable buy, even if they lose this round.
Yeah, no, they're still feeling good. The pressure isn't quite there just yet, but it's definitely mounting up to something. Wardell over here on the bomb train. He's got Sabrosa to complement him over there towards Pop Dog, looking like maybe he wants to try pushing in. And Seb kind of toying with the idea of some aggression, goes in for the shoulder peek. They've already rushed him down. And Stanley gets caught with a knife out. That is not what you want to see. Sabrosa falls in the meantime, trying to journey up through Pop. Wardell's been locked out, and that's the round going the way of SK. That was... I mean, at this point in the game, that was just a complete train wreck of a round from Ghost.
Yeah, and I mean, SK's kind of found the winning recipe, or at least for these past 2 rounds. Who knows if it'll work moving forward, just but a slight feint towards the outside, and then hit the inner bomb site. Wardell, 15 HP, could get 1. He takes off the head of Stewie, but not ready for coldzera to be there. That had to have just been an awkward timing. Obviously, if you're one of the inner defenders, you're not expecting a contact play in that fashion. It's one of those kind of cold positions that we talk so frequently about, where you just have to be ready at all times for some kind of a big mass hit. Similar to the B bomb site on Mirage. And maybe Stanley caught with a nade out, going to smoke one of the either the upper choke point or lower choke point. But obviously, it was not the appropriate time. Nice exit kills for Visa to keep the M4 in his hands. Keep the rifle. I think he swapped it out. 14-10. Here's that last buy, and well, maybe not even last buy. Pretty set for the next round for at least Stanley and Wardell. Switching into a double op setup. Perhaps some desperation coming out for the Ghost guys. This time it's Seb towards the inner bomb site with an AWP. He's going to say, all right, if you want to focus in this direction, I'll switch up the weapon, see if I catch you off guard. Here's Stewie. Shoulder peek, baits out the shot. That will force Sabrosa to rotate over, or somebody to rotate over, because it's got to keep them honest. Big risk to keep 4 players stacked outside. Maybe a bit more of a fake this time. Usually it's just been bolts towards Ivy or some smokes being thrown over. This time it looks like they want to have a 2-man presence towards the outer bomb site, see what they can do. Or maybe just apply the pressure towards the inner site since they've had success, and that's exactly what they do. Apply pressure towards where they've won the last 2 rounds, and Ghost panics. They get in the rotation, and it's way too early. They didn't hold their ground long enough. 2 on 3, though. Kit on Wardell, but it's the 2 ops that have to clear out this whole outside bomb site.
Yeah, this is not ideal. This is not ideal at all for Ghost. Double op in the retake. Not usually a recipe for success, but Wardell, he looks to try and make it so. Maybe it is. As Seb, 1v1 now, times tick low. He has to win this out versus Fallen AWP on AWP. And Seb, not usually the AWPer. Fallen's going to peek into it, and Seb is not ready for that. 15-10. And there we go. That's match point now for SK. They want to try and take this series 2-0. They need these wins, and they stand 1 round away from getting that done.
That's just nice, simple, basic strat calling from SK. You win 2 rounds at B, then you fake like it's going to be a full-blown execute, just some kind of presence, and especially for a young team with younger players and less experienced players like Ghost, they bid on it so hard. A couple players of that initial defense outside got caught on the rotation. Stanley, he needs to get away. He's being blocked by his teammates, and they're a little bit fortunate. Fur's already out, though, and this could be a disaster. Smoke used to be able to cross over, and Fur's gaining all the ground in towards Connector. Stanley's not even aware it's a possibility. Again with the knife in his hands, and Fur's got to get a double. 2 headshots for him. The outer bomb site is weakened. Wardell, that old bomb with an AWP, is the last one left. He does take down 1, but the bomb is easily going to get planted in towards B. And he's already going to have Fallen in his face. Molotov on the ground. He's forced forward into action in the op battles. They aren't contested, or they aren't connecting, but no chance for Wardell. He's out of options. Gonna take the L on this one, as we say.
Yeah, you know, that's going to be it. 16-10, SK, they managed to take the series 2-0. A much more convincing performance, Jason, than what we've been used to seeing from them. perhaps things finally started to click into place a little bit here with this roster.
I don't think it's anything they've kind of figured out in terms of how they're going to play as a team or a unit. I think most of it, you guys may disagree, most of it just came down to they look better individually than they did yesterday. They looked very, very sloppy with some of their decisions and some of their aim and some of their fights.
You kind of have to wonder what they did back there at the SK house after such a tumultuous showing. It was rough, 16-2. This train looking a lot better, and, well, I guess for all intents and purposes, this isn't the Optic Gaming lineup in terms of veterancy, but Ghost Gaming still kind of took the fight to him a little bit, right, Yenka?
Yeah, but I think it's mostly because they had, winning pistol rounds or at least having a good start in both halves. But as soon as we went past that, when it came to the pure gun rounds, they were completely outclassed by SK. Most of those gun rounds weren't even that close.
Yeah, no, it was. They had a real rough time, really. Honestly, again, only guy really coming into it was Wardell on both sides, honestly. And that's not going to take you all the way versus SK. When you look back to the first half, they kept running into the same issues, especially when SK got to double offs. If it wasn't Fallen creating issues for him, it was Coldzera. And if it wasn't Coldzera, then it was Fur playing aggressively, either inside of Hop or by E-Box. So again, nothing new from SK in that sense. I guess the positioning from Cold is a bit different. So I'm much more towards that inner bomb side, even trying to get first peaks, etc. with the op. But yeah, no, again, it's just the usual suspects for SK, just kind of getting it done on an individual level, and that wasn't really something Ghost could answer.
Well, shutting down Wardell has been a target, so to say, by many teams. As soon as they find out, hey, we're playing Ghost, boom, where do we shut Wardell out? And I feel like the CT connectors, where they were able to shut him down on the CT side at least. Stopping his op there gave them the ability to get in that inner bomb site and actually get something done.
Yeah, absolutely. Just use utility a bit more, don't be reckless moving into bomb sites. Use your flashes, smokes, Molotovs. Try to make it as uncomfortable for him as possible. But in a game like this, he's not going to be able to single-handedly carry the team to victory, right? You could just see they were too lost sometimes on the T side. That's the difference between some of these lower-tier teams, right? They're just in a default, but they're not doing anything. They're just like, we have two players in Ivy, and one in brown holes, and one in mid, and one above pop, and they're just like
that means we're doing it.
Yeah, we're just staying there, but you're not really applying any pressure anywhere, are you? I mean, you have control of brown holes maybe, and Ivy, you're there, but you're not doing anything. You're not throwing nades. You're not forcing anyone out of position. Exactly. So, and the minute passes on like that, and SK has utility saved, and then you're like, well,
there's nothing we can do.
At least try and get into the bomb site, and then you try, but you have to go through Molotovs or incendiaries. Basically, delay one side of the attack, allows the CTs to focus on the other one, and that's why those rounds, most of them were very, very convincing for SK Gaming.
Well, that is not the only Brazilian team that we will be seeing tonight. We're going to be looking at Luminosity and Cloud9 next up on the docket. Of course, we're going to be back here at the Xfinity Analyst Desk really shortly, but first, we're going to be going to a quick break. Make sure you're here with us when we come back.